Very good.
Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry, let me turn down the radio here so I can hear myself think. A warm welcome to all of you. I am Gareth, if you don't know me already. We are presenting this drive, broadcasting from the Rietspruit Game Reserve in the Lowveld. On camera, I have a Moog. Many of you on our Patreon may have met him on Monday when he did the pack chat. So he's figuring out what this live cameraman job is all about this afternoon. Do let us know how he goes, and I'll be sure to give him your feedback in the comments. And then next to him is James, who's joining us as a cameraman, and he's learning the ropes from a Moog. I'm sure if you're a Patreon member, you'll meet him down the line in a pack chat at some point. Not tomorrow though, tomorrow's Victoria. It's been a while since you've chatted to her. And while it's a warm welcome from all of us at Painted Dog TV, bit of rain all around. So hopefully it holds off just for these 2 hours while we do our monthly Sunday pack drive for you all. It seems to have held most of the day, so I'm not too concerned. But we have had about 30 mils of rain on the Rietspruit at Hayes over the last, I think, about 4 days. And it has been a nice relief from the heat that we had building up to that rain. And I must say, the bush is looking a lot more lively than it was this time last week when things were drying out and the onset of winter was very evident. Everything's greened up a little bit and the bush is thick. But the trees are changing color. Autumn is around the corner and probably actually just begun. But we do see some of the bush willows that I've seen in the last couple of weeks changing color. Their leaves are going yellow. We will stop and point that out for you all. But winter is definitely coming. The mornings have a little chilly bite in the air for us, and so do the evenings. A couple of nights ago, I actually had to put on a jumper for the first time this year. So winter's coming, but this last little bit of rain, it might be the last rain we get before it's the sort of cold front system rains that we get during winter. It's not ever that much. It has given an extension to summer in terms of the sort of green grass and a little bit of water through the landscape. Our plan for this afternoon is to head up to Leadwood. Bye and her cub are around Leadwood Dam, and I want to catch up with them. You're going to have a lot of Bye and cub in the next week from what our YouTube scheduled videos are, should nothing else pop in and push them back a little bit. So it'll be good to see them today. It actually might ruin the videos that are coming. Anyway, it's nice to see them live. And then the lions have been on Kaya the last few days. There's a giraffe. There's our first customer for this afternoon. Let's see how a Moog goes here. Okay, she's just ruminating there, chewing on the cud. And while we look at this giraffe, I just want to welcome all of our pack members onto this afternoon's drive. Carol, Mary, Becky, Jennifer, Di, Elsa, Betty, Jan. I think that's everybody on so far. A warm welcome to you all. It's so good to be back on safari with you. Nice to start off with a female giraffe. There are a couple more in the garden. Just see if we can get a better view of her and the others that are here next to CEST. You can see another one down the road in front. Hi Carol, sorry that you're not going to be able to join us for the whole time. Sure you have to catch it on YouTube after the fact. Hi Bob, I missed you earlier. Mary, I will take note of that grass trimming around the cams. We'll do that. Angle at Criticam. Let me know. I think it's a great new perspective of that cam. We're just going to sit here. There's another giraffe, or several, that are actually going to cross the road in front of us. Nice herd of giraffe here. You can see it's mostly females that we've seen. I haven't seen any males in amongst the thickets here. You can tell by those smaller, more delicate ossicones. A little bit more fluffy. There's a moog playing with leeches at Criticam the other day. I think he was, Mary. I don't know how much fun he was having. Often when you think about playing, you think of fun. And I don't know if playing with leeches is all that fun, but yes, he was. It doesn't look like there's any more on the thickets next to us where they've come from. So this must be it. There's 4 of them as far as I've seen so far. You might have an itch. No. So she's going to walk over that little raisin bush there and scratch an itch between front legs. You quite often see that happening where giraffe walk over little bushes and they scratch under their legs. Those folds of skin often get parasites like ticks, and they maybe attempting to rub them off. Yeah, Betty, so we have seen them mating, the wild dogs that is, on Leadwood, or attempted to, so we just have to wait and see if we get anything. Maybe in 2 months, just over 2 months' time, we'll really find out if the wild dogs have been mating in the boma. Maybe since they've acquainted themselves with the reserve, the males that is, the females know exactly where they're going. Maybe looking for den sites. We are entering those months when wild dogs do typically den. I know some packs on the Sabi Sands have actually denned as early as March in recent years, which is quite interesting. But typically expected around May. So during May we're going to probably, in all likelihood, be catching up with the wild dogs as much as we can to see if they are, well, if one of the females is pregnant and if they're searching for den sites, collar data as well, see whether or not they are spending a lot of time in certain areas. And if they are, maybe we'll go and see if there's suitable den sites there, typically termite mounds. It would be rather exciting come the second half of this year if we had wild dog pups running around. Well, not at first running around, but once they start moving den sites and find their legs moving around the reserve, that could be quite entertaining to follow for us at Painted Dog TV. Alright, I think we've seen these giraffe. I do want to go up and catch up with my bye-bye and her not so small baby. So we'll leave these giraffe to it. Just slowly browsing through this area. So it's a cool day, so you might find that the cheetahs get moving a little bit earlier than we might typically expect if it was a hot day. They're not going to be limited by temperatures today. The elephants are on Kaya, the 2 male cheetahs are on Kaya. The lions have been spending a lot of time there in the last few days. We also have another baby rhino on the property. A white rhino, just to clarify. Which is very exciting, maybe just over a week old now. So we've got 2 little ones under 3 months old, which is very exciting. And if Mabai and her cub decide to leave Leadwood Dam and go in search of food, we might have to come down into the area of those baby rhino and see if we're getting lucky with them around Pofadder Dam. Just checking some comments. Hi Connie, hi Ronnie, welcome to this afternoon's drive. This is perfect weather for the big cats to be moving about. The last few days when we have been driving around the reserve, I've kind of been hoping to find that other spotted cat that we don't talk about. Technically it's not spotted. These are perfect conditions for leopards to be on the move, not hot, taking advantage. The other day there were leopard tracks absolutely everywhere. I think the last leopard I saw on Rietspruit was the blowbunk male with all of you in the deep slit. When he hid behind the rock. I lied. That wasn't it. It was when we found that leopard with the duiker calling that you would have maybe seen if you've watched the latest installment of Dog Den Diaries. On the other side of the fence. Wasn't much of a sighting, just saw her head in amongst the grass. Assume it was a female, it was relatively small. Just driving here along CEST, like I was saying earlier, it's amazing how quickly the bush recovers. Driving here a few days ago before this last installment of rain, it was really dry. All the grass was drying up. There was no water around. And I look through this gap, that little wallow there has filled up, just to show you some, well, it's not a wallow, it's a seasonal pan. But the rhinos and the elephants, and I'm sure the warthogs, use it as a wallow. They're rhinos. So it just shows you we have had a decent amount of rain. All these little seasonal pans are filling up again. And the bush is greened up. I didn't go out yesterday, so I haven't seen it green like this. The last time was on Friday. It's incredible how just a couple of days and the landscape completely changes almost. Around CEST here, there's also a herd of Wildebeest recently. I just want to see if they're through. Ah, there they are. There we go. And a vervet monkey. This herd of Wildebeest has been spending a lot of time in these sort of more open clearing, well, they're not clearings, but they're enjoying some of the short grass here. In the opposite direction. Jennifer, the lions are doing well. It seems like maybe Nialeti is coming back into an estrus cycle and the boys are fighting over her again. There's a lot of flirting. And it's amazing how quickly those two males have aged. I was chatting to Brent the other day, and 7 months ago, when Victoria and I arrived on the Rietspruit, joining the painted dog pack, we were amazed at how beautiful those males were. And now, after their batch of fighting about 4 months ago in November, when they were ripping one another up, they're looking like proper aging male lions. Now they're about 8 years old. They're looking more like that. It's nice to see the wildebeest here. There's also some nice wildebeest that's around Leadwood Dam, quite a lot. That group that we brought in here at the end of September. Seems like they're split. And you've got this group in here around CEST, and then the group that spends a lot of time around Leadwood Dam. Them running behind these bushes. These wildebeest are being shy. They don't want to be in front of the camera. Let's see if we can get a different angle. Maybe it opens up a bit more here and we can get a glimpse of them, but I think it's going to be much the same, really. Yeah, they're moving through there. There's some monkeys, we can show you them. Bobbing and weaving to get a better look at us, and then they run away. Peekaboo. And the little ones entertaining themselves with our presence. Monkeys are brilliant when you can watch them in the wild, not when they're trying to break into your house and steal your bread and bananas. We like troops that are here that we can watch. Oh, there's one that's hiding right here. You see in amongst this elephant's pudding. I wonder if it's fruiting. There are some flowers actually. And maybe this monkey's trying to get some nectar or something. Or just pretending he's not here, so close to us. Good to hear that the breakup has been resolved and the picture and audio is better than it was a bit ago. You can definitely tell that that's a male there now. There's blue genitalia. Trying to make out what exactly he's doing, but maybe just using it as a bit of a vantage point, although it's not a very high tree. There's another that's also sitting right on top of a tree, almost like he's surveying the surroundings, making sure Kudu Crip 2-3 isn't around. Alrighty, well, we moved off, the monkeys are doing their thing. Let's carry on. I do want to catch up with my baba. Now I wonder when we get up to Leadwood Dam if the hippos are going to be there. They've been walking around the reserve. They spent a little bit of time while the mother and her young one were spending some time in Leadwood Dam and then in Pofada Dam. One day we were trying to find Mabai and her cub, and we went up to Pofada Dam because that's where they do like to go, and walking on the edge there to see if there were any tracks, I saw the hippos were there, which I did not expect. And then when we drove around to the other side of the dam, there were two lionesses lying down there. So we didn't find Mabai, but we found the hippos and we found the lions. Well, two of the lions. Good afternoon, there's 4 Leadwood stations on Blowbank. There are 2 male cheetahs on the southern fence line of Kaya, as well as the elephants. And then the female cheetah and her cub are around Leadwood Dam. So the hippos have been taking advantage of a lot of grass around the reserve and water in the different dams. But a couple of days ago, I was up at Leadwood Dam and the hippos were back there. Well, 2 of them. The female and her baby were there. I don't know where the bull's gone. He's kind of in hiding at the moment. I haven't seen him for a while. Break. How's everybody in the Northern Hemisphere doing? Everybody excited for your summer? As our seasons change, I'm sure yours are too. There's a little group of Nyala through here. To do with all this cloud cover and the rain that's been around and possibly rain that is falling elsewhere in the Lowveld, interfering with our picture. Hopefully it gets better. Yeah, nice, Becky. Nice to add some colour to your garden, I'm sure. This little herd of Nyala have actually been spending some time the last couple of times that we've come through this area. We've seen them, which is always nice. Such a beautiful antelope. We're making progress. I do want to get there while they're not on the move, so if they do get going and into some thick areas, we may not be able to keep up with them. So the sooner we get to Leadwood Dam, the better. Jennifer, so just to get to your question about my project, it's moving. There's a lot of work to get done. I've been accepted into the University of Mpumalanga. And now it's the registration process and getting through the proposal, figuring out exactly what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. I'm hoping that the bulk of that is all done by the end of this month. But as soon as you sit down to sort of start working on this kind of thing, something else pops up. But I have been making some progress, had some good conversations with Marine from Ingwe.
Just on the northern side of South Africa.
Northern side of?
Brandon, come in. Yeah, I'm here at for them inflow. Well, 2 days ago.
Okay, these giraffes kind of moving away down towards the sun slit. Let's keep going. nice and close to this big bull. Got an oxpecker there on his back, or a couple of oxpeckers on his back, keeping him company.
AG coming. Fine. Warm up.
Come down the road and into the sun slope perhaps. Look at those oxpeckers. You know, they comb their way through the coat with their bills, just picking up any external parasites that are there. Can hear some more giraffe, but only see the one. Giraffe, because of their extended height, sometimes they look very clumsy when they're going down banks of riverbeds like this. This is often where they find themselves in trouble with lions. Lions hunting them, chase them down banks like that, and you saw how awkward that was. It's beautiful now with him standing in the sun slope like that. That's gorgeous. But you can see how clumsy they are when they're coming down banks like that, especially if they're rocky and thick.
Double coming.
They get themselves in trouble, and that's when you, well, especially myself, I've seen it a lot where that's where giraffe kills take place. And the lions chase them down banks and they're slow at moving down, or they lose their footing. Vegetation's often thicker on the banks of river. And that compromises the giraffe's ability to get away. Watch how it sort of tries to get up the bank here. It's a little bit difficult, but slower. You can see why lions would potentially ambush giraffe in this kind of environment. Okay, so the bye-bye and the cub have been found, or maybe it's just bye-bye that's been found. They've just said female cheetah on an impala kill. So let's keep going. The one call was cheetah and cub in the quarry on Leadwood, and the other call was female cheetah on an impala kill. But I didn't quite get where that second one was. I was distracted by the giraffe running down the road into the sun slopes.
Yeah, we're in the extensive room. You can come on in.
Copy that. Warren going live on Leadwood. No need for update.
Pop into Lodge Pan, just see how much water there is in there before going up to Leadwood Dam. The wild dogs were here a couple of days ago around the concrete bridge, so perhaps they'll be on the move now as well, looking for an evening meal, and we can connect with them. That would be great. It's also nice to be up here at this time of day on Leadwood, because that female leopard, I think her name's Moya, has been seen quite frequently by the Rietspruit standards around Leadwood Dam in the last few weeks.
Baba.
So it'd be amazing to see her, a leopard I haven't seen on the Rietspruit. It'd be great to show a Moega leopard as well. He might fall off the back if it's anything to go by when he first saw the cheetah. And then James will have to take over the camera work. I think 4 or 5 nights ago, that leopard was seen between Contractors and Leadwood Drive, north of Leadwood Dam. And then she often gets seen around Leadwood Drive, around the dam, on the Homestead area, Concert Road, Berg View. So she's becoming a constant character around Leadwood Dam. So hopefully she appears this evening. Leopards do like their routines, and hopefully, because she hasn't been seen in Leadwood Dam, not to my understanding anyway, in the last couple of nights, that she's going to return there this evening for us. Some more impala in the road. Actually, a few more impala here. You can see them over there. All of their babies are getting big now. See a little one at the back there, not so little anymore, those two in the middle of the herd at the moment. No, 3 little ones then, perhaps. Okay. Station with the cheetah. Conversation with the female cheetah and cub.
Last caller, go again.
Sorry, I missed the location of that sighting.
It is along Contractors on the northern side, we just off the road on a young Impala hill.
Copy, I'll be keen there. I'm about 10 minutes off.
No problem, when you come, we'll pull out.
Let's see, we're gonna not go to Leadwood Dam just yet. We'll have to pop in there later because the cheetahs are long contractors. Also an Impala kill. So then we'll have to go to Leadwood Dam afterwards and see if the hippos are still there and if the leopard comes down for an evening drink. The mountains are looking beautiful. I'm just going to find a gap in the trees for a moog, or he can just scan to them with the setting sun. See that nice horizon that we get to look at from the Rietspruit. Our days are definitely shortening. I think the last time we went on a Sunday drive, the sun set half an hour later than it is today. It's amazing how quickly that happens. Look at those colors above the mountains, so beautiful. Little duiker running away in front of us, about over there. I'm not going to ask a Moog to try and put a duiker on camera for you. Be a bit of a tall order. No, maybe it's sitting still for a change. Let's just see. If it doesn't run away, if I can get a gap, a Moog, how's that? Can you see it? No? You see where the fallen over tree is? The branch, oh there, it's running. Yeah, you can just see, there's a duiker. You saw it running away in frame. Okay, the cheetah must be here somewhere. We've just passed Leadwood Dam. Yeah, there's some vehicles.
It's actually being the lock of this female Cheetah cup and attended at the quarry.
Gareth, come in on the left-hand side. You should be able to get in there.
Copy, thank you, Crew. Got visual. There we go, everybody. No, you're fine. All good. Where's the quarry?
The quarry's just over here.
Is it?
Don't call it the quarry anymore. It's called the Giraffe.
Understood.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
You know when you go to Marilla,
Yeah.
you go down here at the junction here where Marilla Drive is. There are two roads. One goes to, well, just keep on your right and take the first right, and it's a filled up area.
Okay.
But somebody else coming in, how about that?
The station's on with the female cheetah and kill. There we go. So it looks like my bye-bye and her cub have separated. And the bye-bye's got herself an impala kill here.
Can you just stand by there and we will make room for you?
The star's coming soon, eh?
Sorry? I can't hear. Isn't that her at the other sighting? Split. I don't know. I'd assume so. Hey. Okay.
Johan and Colleen on Glowbank. I don't know what number we are.
Sorry, everybody. There's a lot of traffic around. I'm a little bit distracted. But what a nice view of this female cheetah.
Right, number 5.
Copy, thank you.
So Greer's gonna go around to the other side and just see if she can see the scar that Mabai has, in case that other female has just reappeared. It would be pretty impressive because I think it's been about a year since she's been seen. I think we've all kind of assumed that she hasn't made it. But the fact that her cub isn't here, this will be the first sighting without her, and would indicate that she's gone independent from mom, which is very exciting for her story. Yes, Mary, we recently collared the cub. Looks like she's caught a little one. A very small impala, from what I can see. We're going to have to go and see what the other cheetah is that's been seen this afternoon, and see if it's Mabai's cub. And this would mark a very significant time in her life, because she's not with mom. I think it's the first time ever. At least while I've been here, and that means that she's 7 months older, so it would be the first sighting without the two of them together. Let's see now that they're, oh, she's sitting up. The radio is very distracting. I think I can see that old scar that she had on her left hip there. Yes, it is Mabai. That's healed up quite nicely. If everybody can see that flesh wound that Mabai had on her left hip. You can see how that's healed up quite nicely. You can see something else moving around behind her. What is that? Some wildebeest. There's a wildebeest behind her on the other side in the thickets. Look how the flies are already coming to the carcass. So now I heard that she was with her cub at Leadwood Dam, and then her cub isn't too far from here, but she's by herself, so maybe they've just split in the chaos of a hunt. But it doesn't look like she's making any effort to notify her cub as to where she is, which is a pretty good signal that she's happy for her to sort of start fending for herself. But I mean, only time will tell. But the age of the cub is right, she's just about 18 months now. So it's the right time for her to be independent from her mum and figuring out what the world is all about on her own. And that potentially means, well, almost certainly means that in a few months' time she'll come back into estrus and we could have wild dog puppies and cheetah cubs on the Rietspruit in the second half of this year, which is pretty exciting. Oh, those flies are all buzzing around there. I mean, this carcass can't be more than half an hour old, and the flies are already there. When did you arrive? About 2 weeks ago. So Meg arrived about 2.5 weeks ago, and Mabiba and her cub were around Hace. And that's when we collared the cub the day before Meg arrived, so missed out on that excitement. But this is what she does. She often spends 2 or 3 days around Hace, and then about 2 weeks later she ends up here in that sort of top corner of Leadwood, around Leadwood Dam. And she moves along the deep slit. It'll be interesting to see how that might change in the weeks to come, with her cub going independent, if she starts to explore the property further, maybe goes in search of the 2 males. The 2 boys tend to spend all their time in the east, and she tends to spend most of her time in the west. So it'll be interesting to see how that might shift in the next couple of weeks and months, with the independence of her cub, and maybe her seeking out the males, or the males seeking out her, if they catch wind of her scent as it changes and starts to signal that she's entering an estrus cycle. The dam's not far, so maybe when she's finished this kill, she's going to head off to the dam for a drink. Obviously, it's not important that she drinks after feeding. Most of her moisture she'll get from a carcass like this. Desert cheetahs, well, cheetahs found in the desert, shall I phrase that differently, can go months without drinking water. As you can imagine, in a desert landscape, it will be very difficult to come across surface water. especially during the drier months. And they get all of their requirements from the kills that they make. Mary, you're so funny. Woohoo! And the independence of her cub also means that her cub will be moved off of the Rietspruit, forming part of the meta-population, moving genetics around South Africa. And the reason we do that is because the two males on the property are her fathers. Well, one of them is her father, but together, kinship. The males, one of them is her father, so we don't want her to be around here because those two are brothers. So she moves off because you don't want to bring in new male cheetah and move these males off because they are dominant and territorial and comfortable in this environment. And you also don't want to move cheetahs around too much. You ideally just move them once in their life. So they've been moved here. Yes, Mary, I'm not exactly sure where she's going, but we will update you on those details when we find out. The timing couldn't be better, with her now showing a clear sign of being independent from mom. Means she could probably do it herself. So the timing of us getting the collar on is also great because, as we know, we can go weeks without finding the cheetah in this environment. Kind of have to wait for Mababa to show up at Leadwood Dam or AEST sometimes. Now we would be able to find that cub when we need to move her off. Well, she's not a cub anymore. If she's independent from mom, she's a sub-adult. Well, the light coming through just before that sun dips below the horizon is beautiful on the trees above the cheetah here. And Meg's going to zoom out now and show you how that light's just come through. Look at that. It's just almost like a thin band of setting sunlight as it's gone below the clouds, but it's still above the mountains. That's beautiful. Now I'm trying to weigh up whether or not we should quickly pop to where the cub is, just to see that it is her. We haven't seen another cheetah and her cub for, I think it's about a year now, so I'm sure it's Mababa's cub that's nearby. Maybe we should try and maybe we should go and try and see if we can connect with her, because it might be our last opportunity while we've got a little bit of light. So let's leave Mababa to finish her kill. It is getting dark as well. And let's go and see if we can catch up with that other cheetah, because if it is her cub, it might be the last time. Well, I mean, especially considering we don't do drives all the time, it might be the last opportunity for you all to see her. And I won't say no to an opportunity to see her either. The stations I'm leaving the female cheetah with her kill on contractors to one other. We're keen on the second female cheetah on quarry track, about 5 minutes out. Going to make speed so that we've got enough light to at least enjoy the cheetah for a little bit. Sorry to whip you all away from a bye-bye there, but I just thought about it. See if we can connect with her cub before it gets dark.
We're approaching the cub in the quarry area.
Keep an eye out for leopard. This is where she likes to spend time. And the wild dogs if they're out and about. It is quite far from where her mother is. Look at that light. Just turn the NDs just so they can see. There she is. Yeah. So you can see a cheetah with a beautiful sunset. There you go. Why are you not with your mum? Hey, you're a big girl now. I'm just going to get nice and low. We can get eye level with her. Oh, so good to catch up with her. There we go. Nice and eye level.
Responding to the cheetah cub sighting in the quarry, 3 minutes out.
Make your way, Gray, just myself here, and I think one other en route. Beautiful. Look at her. All grown up. First time I'm seeing her without her mom. The thing I love about this little cheetah is her right eye and that unique spot in it below her pupil. Maybe they do still ping. I tried to get a ping on them earlier, but I was trying to drive and got distracted with the idea of the cheetahs. And this is brilliant. This is so nice to see her and catch up with her. Everybody soak it up, as this might be the last time. Sorry?
That's the mom with the kill.
He's all grown up. I guess I should try and get a couple of pictures of her lying here in the open. It's quite nice, although it's getting quite dark, so. Especially the way she's looking towards us. She's just posing.
Shame she doesn't know what she's in for.
Are you live?
Yeah. Beautiful little cheetah, isn't she?
Well done, Mom. 1 out of 10.
She has the cutest little face. She's still got a lot of growing to do. She's still quite small, especially when she stands next to Mom.
We did see you earlier, huh?
But she
Split from Mom.
is all grown up.
She does. Shame. She doesn't know what's in store for her. Oh, yeah, she's gonna take Cheetah soon.
Well, we're hoping she's gonna hunt herself now.
Yeah, no, she will. She'll get there.
Her mom is on there eating.
Well, I killed Cheetah.
It's always good to connect with them when you put collars on them.
Project as well.
It's good to see that she's absolutely fine with her
Yeah, she's
collar.
baby and father. Yeah, she's cool as well.
When we do move her, she's going to have that collar replaced.
She's sitting up and you almost think that
And she's growing all the time, constantly at the moment.
church.
It'd be really nice if she looks over her shoulder at us now and gives us that typical type of cheetah view.
Even won't go on game drive twice a day. Well, either if he's away or if there's rugby. Springboks and the shark. No other rugby.
There's a white crown shark, eh?
Ah, that's what we're hearing.
Top of this tree.
White crown shark.
Exactly. Opposite cheetah, top. Slightly too white.
See, she's still got that dark coloration on the longer hair that's on the back of her neck, which they lose as they get older.
Not the black-winged one, the Eurasian one.
Southern white crown shrike called in and just flew over above her.
Eurasian golden. Is it now Eurasian?
No, well, there's
just the
two-
golden.
there's
And
two. There's the African golden and then the Eurasian. So the Eurasian doesn't think that this comes
okay.
real.
This is the golden oriole we have seen here.
As she gets older, she loses that longer hair on the back of her
We
neck
haven't
and her
seen this
back.
one yet, but we're not
It's all
sure.
very fluffy when they're cubs,
We sent it to Phil and we're sending it to Trevor Hart.
not really necessary when they're adults.
Connie, how long are you here for?
And try and make themselves look bigger if a potential threat comes across them when they are little, or that's what I was waiting for. How awesome. But now it's very dark. For my camera. Your view is still pretty good.
Yeah, and it's near the warm beaches. Dark.
She looks at us again, just look at her right eye. That unique little spot in that eye makes her a photographer's dream.
No, she's dark.
Yeah, she's got a dark patch on her neck.
Maybe got a bit of king cheetah in it. Yeah, she's a good team.
That's why she doesn't look that skinny.
Give us a look back, girl, before it gets too dark. Nice open area to view her like this.
It's like her blonde hair is brown, dark brown.
Maybe even a little darker than that, very gray, almost. Yeah, that's natural.
Is this the first time you see her separate from her mom?
Yeah.
She's, I think, leading the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, what tree is it together, too? Yeah.
Zemanga.
So the timing's perfect.
Mm.
Are there lions? It's Zemanga.
The lines, I think, are on high, aren't they?
No, I was asking if there are lions where she's going to. Zemanga.
I thought there wasn't. I don't know why.
It's in the tail.
Oh, Mary, that's true. It'd be interesting to see how she navigates wild dogs and having to raise the little cubs.
She meant to be going somewhere and then they changed it.
She was going to Mabula, I think.
Yeah.
Do they have lions there? No.
I don't know.
I don't
Okay,
think
so that's because this is a while back that he told me there were no lions. So I didn't realize they changed it.
I think they're
Flicking her tail there, just chasing away some of the flies that are around her. Looks like she's just sleeping now.
Right, I remember that day when we came to visit us
Yes.
in October. But she still seems so small. No, she seems young still.
if they've initiated before, then she will.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Well,
But it's very dark here now.
time that's in the park.
Doesn't look like it on your screens at home, but it's getting darker.
I think the splits happened maybe last night or yesterday or today.
Could they come back together or not at this point?
I don't know. Would they come back together, Kill? Probably not.
Look, I've seen it happen. I'm behind you. I told him earlier, we saw the mom first. So I told him when we first saw the mom, I said, I don't think she's going to be far behind the mom. So now when the mom moves off this, we'll probably try and see what's left.
Okay, everybody, we're going to spend a couple more minutes with her. It is starting to get dark here. And if she's by herself, away from Mom for the first night. You don't want to compromise her in any way. So let's soak up the last few minutes with this young female cheetah. It'll be the last time that we have her live for everybody. It's very fitting that we get to see her on this drive before she moves off the reserve. Everybody that's followed her for the last 18 months, it's a nice opportunity to see her all grown up and independent from Mom. Now they might link up over the next couple of days, but you might find this is the separation of independence. It's always a big moment in a cheetah's life. You've had Mom as reassurance. You've had Mom as ears and eyes who knows how to avoid other predators that are higher on the apex predator chain. Lions, leopard, hyena, wild dogs. Now you got to figure it out on your own. There's a time when young cheetahs are vulnerable. They figure out this independence thing. I think most things in life are vulnerable when they're figuring out independence, humans included. It's a big bad world to get used to. And that's why she'll be moved off of here and hopefully settle into, oh, she's actually calling. See if you can hear that, everybody. I'm just going to sit quietly. Now the ultimate test here when she's contact calling for Mom like that, as if Mom were to say, hey girl, you're kind of on your own now, you're independent. She wouldn't respond to those calls. You can imagine you've been with your Mom for 18 months and now you're out on your own and you're calling for Mom, but Mom doesn't respond because it's time for you to get on and do life. I'll be interested to see in the next few days if they do link up. Maybe they're separated because of the hunt. But you might also find that this is the opportune moment for Mabai to leave this little girl to figure out life. She's well equipped, I'm sure, at this point in time. She knows what everything's about. And then she'll figure out a new reserve where she gets moved to. Yeah, Mary, she was contact calling there. Still is contact calling. All right, everybody, I think I'm going to call it there. It's amazing for all of our viewers that might be with us currently as we're live to have watched this young female grow up from a little cub to her independence, basically, all caught on our cameras. And we wish her well on what life may bring her. She forms part of a very important metapopulation program, spreading the genetics of cheetahs across the country, which has been very successful for the species over the last 2 decades, and probably more so in the last decade. So we're very fortunate that we were able to find her this afternoon. But now it's getting dark, she is contact calling, so I think we'll leave her to it. Maybe we'll pop past Leadwood Dam quickly and see if there's anything there, and then we'll start making our way back south and see if we get any sign of that leopard that gets seen around here quite frequently. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
We see you later.
Yeah, well. All right, everybody. Let's see, it's these days, these cooler days like today, we might get surprised by some of the more nocturnal species that in the summer months we don't typically encounter because it's too hot. But with the cooler temperatures of the last few days and winter coming, maybe we'll get lucky with one of our more secretive species on the Rietspruit. Something like a genet or a civet, porcupines. Maybe bush babies on the way home to the knot-thorn trees, which they like so much. But it would be wonderful if we could find the other big cat just up here around Leadwood Dam, so we'll keep an eye out. This is the perfect time of day. This is kind of when I've heard her being found, when it is on the radio and called in. As the crow flies, my bye-bye is probably 500 meters from her cub, maybe a little less. Let's have a quick look at Leadwood Dam. But there's another car coming towards us, so we might end up empty-handed here. Stop here at Leadwood Dam. Let's just soak in the mountains with these lights and the reflection that is on the still water. Absolutely beautiful time of day. Have a look at that, everybody. I'll leave you with that scene for a little bit. What a beautiful way to end our drive. Let's just do a scan across the dam and see if there's anything on the wall or closer to that side. Doesn't look like it. My light isn't detecting any eyes. Doesn't look like the hippos are in here either. There's some blacksmith lapwings here on the edge of the water. And I don't know if you can hear the little three-banded plover you can see in the bottom right corner of your screens moving about there. We'll sit here for 5 minutes and just see if we can hear anything. Maybe the leopard pops over the dam wall for an evening drink. We hear lions roaring. Just enjoy that beautiful sunset over the northern Drakensberg here. Okay, I think let's go and see what we can find on our way home. See if we do get any of these nocturnal species moving about. Still a nice amount of water here in Leadwood Dam, but no hippos. There were hippos 2 days ago here. Maybe they've gone down to Buffalo Dam, which is the closest water to here. Well, I guess not really. Lodge Pan is, but I don't think that's deep enough for hippos. Maybe we'll pop past Lodge Pan now and see. Maybe we get lucky with a rhino, having an evening drink, which is quite typical of their behavior, as we're well aware of. But it would be amazing to see something of the night. Willem said a little while ago he saw a brown hyena on hoofpad on his way back to Hayes from Leadwood one evening, which is pretty exciting. I haven't seen a brown hyena on the Rietspruit just yet. So I will definitely take one of those if we came across one. We have been seeing more hyenas sort of around the Hace area, spotted hyenas on the BCC side. And lots of tracks around Hoofpad, that southern fence line of Blowbank, Beesterpad, Mamba Dam, that whole kind of area. So maybe we get a spotted all-brown hyena. That would be pretty exciting. Either way, I'd take a sighting of either of those sightings. Species, sorry. A leopard in this tree with that light behind it would be amazing. We could dream. This female leopard was actually seen in a tree here maybe a couple of weeks ago now. Saw it on our sightings group, a beautiful photograph of her in a marula tree. So it's possible. One of these marulas would be gorgeous. I'm just going to stop so you can have a look. And Meg swings that camera around. Imagine a leopard on that branch here. I think every photographer would love that scene. There's just some impalas in the grass here that look like they were standing and staring. Just that body language if they're watching something moving. So I'm just stopping to see if I can hear any alarm calls. But she's still pretty fixated in that direction. There's a road there. Let's just drive that road, perhaps. Oh, if I can drive. they are focused in that area, so let's just go down that other road and see maybe there's somebody walking down there that's of interest to us that we can view with the lights at night. There's no alarm calling though. From this angle I can't see any light, eyes reflecting. But they are looking that way. You can't not have a look. Let's check if there's any tracks. On top of all the vehicle tracks, doesn't look like it. No leopards walked here recently. I'm going to drive the next stretch of road slightly slower than I would usually, because this is where this leopard does get seen, and those impalas were watchful, but no alarm calls. But sometimes they think they've seen something in the long grass and they're watching it, and they don't alarm call, but there is something moving about there. Could be anything like a warthog, it's the right size or height of a leopard for an impala that's trying to keep an eye out for its predators. If it's left of us in the thicker stuff here next to the road, we're definitely not going to see anything, so you kind of hope that they're walking down the road if it was a predator. There's all the impalas. You just see their eyes in the distance. So it feels like it's a little bit windy, but I think that's just me driving and looking at the trees. Just wondering if the impalas are a little bit more watchful because it's windier. Well, there's a vehicle in front of us. So there's some more impala. Maybe that's what the impala was looking at. There's more impala off the side of the road here. When we stopped to listen just now, there was no alarm call, so I don't think there was anything to be concerned about for these impalas. But we'll just stop and listen for a bit. Also give that other car in front of us some time to get ahead of us. I'd love to find a brown hyena den site, Mary, that would be pretty special. All very quiet. I think they had just seen something that they wanted to watch a little closer. Let's get going. Maybe we get to last pan before the end of drive. Got a few more minutes. Another opportunity for something coming for an evening drink. The grass is so tall here. We've been in this chimney low to the ground. I feel like all the grass around me is taller than me. And I won't really be able to see much walking next to the road. And there's a bush baby. Not really the right vegetation on the top of the crest here though. Okay, we're almost at Lodge Pan. I think we'll probably close drive at that pan. Maybe we get lucky with something to end off with. Caught up to that other vehicle again. Might be able to see the Wildebeest in front of it. Maybe they had a late afternoon drink at Lodge Pan. Unfortunately, we got caught behind this car at the wrong time of drive. If there was any shy nocturnal animal walking down the road or going to scurry across the road, it would be in front of them, unlikely in front of us. Some knobthorn trees again. Maybe we'll get the eyes of a bush baby. Looks like some duikers through there. Continuing in the direction that I want to go. Yeah, it looks like there's people stopped here at Lodge Pan as well. So maybe we won't go in there. They should have told us if there was something there. We won't disturb them in case they're still having a sundowner or something, which is rather late for that. So you're not going to see Lodge Pan, everybody. Somebody's still sitting there. Some more in parlour off to the right here. Where's this vehicle going? Why are they going this way? Meant to be going home. Everybody, we are coming to an end of this first Sunday of the month drive. It's been really nice to be in front of the camera, in front of you all again. I hope you've enjoyed this drive, and it was really nice to catch up with my bye-bye and her cub separately, kind of watching the moment of independence take place before our eyes almost. So we wish that little sub-adult well. It will in all likelihood be the last time that we see her on one of our drives. And I'm sure next time we see you, it'll be a lot warmer where you are and a lot colder where we are in May. Thanks for joining us from all of us at Painted Dog. Oh, hang on, hold on. There's a porcupine. There's a porcupine. The timing couldn't have been any better. As we were about to leave you, here's a pork. I don't know if any of you saw it. It was on the road briefly, but now it's scurried off into these thickets. Let's just see. We might, the grass is quite long, but maybe you can see it there as we end off. There we go. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. And we'll see you on Monday, tomorrow, for Victoria's Pack Chat. Otherwise, we'll see you again on a live drive next month. Have a great day.